My name is Bill Ackley, for those of you who don't know me. My wife and I, Denise, we joined the Energy Development Group, AO Scan family about 2 years ago when we purchased the big scanner unit, which for us was an investment of about $30,000. And we wanted to have an option to help our son who has cerebral palsy. He's autistic. He's about 26. He turns 26 next week, and my wife was looking for some answers about some of her health issues that she was going through, and also she felt like it would help me with some of my challenges that I had, and so we went ahead and invested in this scanner and took a leap of faith. And at that point, my wife's goal was to be able to transition from her nursing job, which she's been a nurse for 19 years now, and transition into a health and wellness business. And it's been a great journey. And about 2 months ago, we got a call from the CEO of AO Scan, inviting us to come in and talk to him. And we had heard some rumors about this mobile scan unit. We knew that they were working on the mobile scanner, and they'd been developing it for about 18 months. But they made some major breakthroughs. And just to show you, this is the mobile scanner, and I've got it mirrored up here. You can see it's in a cell phone package, and it is a cell phone. It's got full data and voice, and so that you can use it when you're out and about. You can use it on vacation. You can take it with you. It's got a phone number. It's got access to the internet, because that's how it's able to access the scans that you need to do to be able to figure out what's happening and how to improve your health. So I wanted to go through and just talk about the frequency first. In the late 70s, early 80s, there was a Russian and German group that identified 120,000 frequencies that are from the human body. And when a frequency, when a human cell is operating at the optimal frequency, every cell for every human being, male, female, doesn't matter the race, when operating at optimal frequencies, our cells are the same. They sound the same. They have the same frequency. And so they were able to identify these frequencies, and then over time we developed this scanner. The AO Scan unit was developed to be able to recognize the frequencies coming out of the different parts of your body. So for example, recognize your heart frequency, recognize the frequency of your liver, your kidney, and tell you what the optimal frequency is. There's a test that is similar to a chemical blood test that is able to read the frequencies of your blood and give you results back similar to your blood test for the lipids, the cholesterol, other things that blood tests do that my wife knows better than I do. The great thing about this device is that it now took that $30,000 machine that we'd invested in and puts it into the hands of regular people. And through the bone conducting headphones that we use, we can scan an individual and get pretty much about a 60-page report back that gives you a lot of information and can really help you hone in on what paths you want to take. Now, to be clear, this is not a medical device. It does not treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We use it as an education tool to teach us and to give us more options and how to treat our symptoms, and how to really get to the cause, not just treat the symptoms, but get to the cause of those symptoms. It really digs deep and helps us understand what's behind my rumbling stomach. Is it just nerves because of the way I feel tonight, or is it something else? Is it indigestion, or is it a heart issue that I need to be worried about? Those are really hard to tell the difference between those two a lot of times. What is it that I'm experiencing? The AO scan device can help us understand that. These the principles used and the technology used in the AO scan device is developed on the theories of Tesla, Albert Einstein, Rife, where they postulated that everything has a frequency, and we all have frequencies, and we've talked a little bit about that now, and that group was able to identify those frequencies, and we've made some exciting movements forward in frequency. I was meeting with a client who is he's a sound engineer, and he made the comment to me. He said, I know that you can use frequency to make someone sick and make someone not feel good. They do that in military applications. They do it. He was talking about how music can affect people. Well, why can't we use frequency to help us feel better? And so now I want to jump into talking about the device itself. And this is the device, and this is the main page that you see when you get on your device, on your mobile device. The first option that we have is we need to set up a profile. And so if I'm using this for a client, or if I'm using this on my kids, on myself, I need to set up a profile. So what I do is I tap on the profile. So I tapped on where it says my name up there, I tapped on that, and it brought up new client or existing client. And so I'm going to tap in here on new client, and I will, at this point, go ahead and start entering the information for this new client. The first name, last name, email address, male or female, weight. Now weight is just in numeric value only. You don't have to put pounds or kilograms. Height, numeric value only. You don't need to put the inches mark or the feet mark. And typically you want to enter the height in inches. So if you're 5'7", that's 67 inches. And then you go ahead and you enter the birth date. And one important thing about entering the birth date, the first thing you want to do is start with the year. So you just tap up on the year where it says 2000. If you can see my hand, I'm going to tap on that year, and it will pull up a drop down. Okay, so it pulls up a drop down, and then you select the year, and then you select the month. So for me, I was born in 1969. So 1969, and then I go and I pick the month, and that is my birthday. Then I push set right here, and I set that. And then I go to this is a really important step, is to take the picture. And so when you're taking the picture, you want to find a solid background. You don't want any knickknacks. So if I'm taking my picture, I don't want to take it right here because I have too much stuff behind me. So if I take my picture, I'm going to find a solid background. So I'm going off screen, but I found a solid wall background, and now I'm going to take my picture, and then I hit next, and once I hit next, I'm saved in the profile, and now I can go and start my scans. And so the first scan, now coming soon, will be the quick scan. And the quick scan will be part of the basic package. And what's great about the quick scan, and I believe how soon are we talking, Lauren, do you think?
3 weeks.
About 3 weeks, the quick scan will be available. And we're so excited about this, because what it does is when you wake up in the morning, you're going to take a quick scan. You're going to plug in your headphones, and the way these work, let me unravel these and put them on so you can see. I feel like I have Bluetooths in all the time. I think they're like attached, so I'm glad I don't have them in. So I go ahead and I plug the bone conducting headphones in, and I'm going to put them just right here. And so if you look, you see they're just sitting right on the bone, the jawbone right in front of my ear. And when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and in the morning, I'm going to hit quick scan. I'll talk into it for about 10 seconds, and then it's going to give me a feedback. It's going to tell me, based on the supplements that I've entered into my own personal library, what supplements I need for that day. It's going to give me a color of glasses to wear that day. We use these glasses that coordinate, or that are, what's the word? I can't think of the word right now. Exactly. So these glasses are represent the frequency that I need for that day. And so I put this on, and today I had turquoise, and I was wearing these around, and they're great sunglasses. My daughter says I look like John Lennon. I'm grateful she said I didn't look like Harry Potter, but John Lennon, I like that. And so, or maybe a guru of some kind with this head, and hopefully I'm not throwing too much glare. So that gives me that information. It also will give me my MP3 tones to listen to for the day, and it's just an exciting scan in the morning to run to get me started off on the right foot. And then at nighttime, I do the same thing. I hit quick scan. It'll give me what I need to do for the night. So I hit quick scan, and it'll run that. It will give me the MP3s for the night and help me just go right off to bed. So that's the first thing. That'll be available on the basic in about 3 weeks. So the next one is the inner voice. So with inner voice, I'm going to hit inner voice, and it's going to pull up that microphone. And so I'm going to take the headphones off right now. But what I do when I hit inner voice, now remember, if you look up there, you can see that my profile is picked. So that's what we entered, and that's my profile. And so I know that this is targeted and set up for me. If it were someone else, if it were my son and I ran the inner voice, it wouldn't be an accurate inner voice, because there is a tiny bit, this is how Lauren put it last night, there's a tiny bit of AI in this. And the scanner will get to know me. It takes about 3 scans, and the scanner begins to know me. That's why the picture is so important. It's part of your digital profile that the scanner gets to know. And so I hit the start button. Hi, I'm Bill Ackley. It is Thursday. We're right here at my home running a Zoom meeting. And it's great talking about the AO mobile scan device. Now it's stopped. And so now you can see, I'm going to turn it sideways. You can see it populated a report. On this report, it has 12 zones. And it's going to give me it's going to give me a PDF report. Let me do this again. Flip it. All right. So it's going to give me rad tones. Those are the MP3s that I was just talking about. It's going to give me a report, and I can also email it. And so what I typically do in the morning is I send an email. There we go. All right, back. I send the email, I pull that up, send, and off goes the email to my email. And I'll usually listen to those tones throughout the day. I can send a report, and what the report shows, the first page of this report is gives us a nice explanation of inner voice. So when you get that report, if you've never read through that, read through that. That's a great explanation of how the inner voice works. What the inner voice does is it measures the tonal frequency from my voice. Each of us has a voice that is different. It's like a fingerprint. And so it measures that tonal frequency and measures and can tell me the emotions that I am dealing with right now. Now, before this meeting, I had some overwhelm. and that was earlier. And so I put my glasses on. Those are the glasses I was wearing, and it helped me balance that. And so if we go to the first report, so this one gives me a report and says my balancing color is gold. And if I scroll up, and the balancing octave is D sharp. And so that octave will be sent in an MP3. That's a 3-minute long MP3 that will that I can listen to, and then I can wear my gold or yellow lens. They're basically the same color, but I wear those, and then I can also read through what this emotional zone that I'm dealing with right now in general represents. And so some of these things will apply to me, some of them may not. This is a general description for everybody who falls in this zone. And so if I go to the next 2 reports are the next the first 3 reports are the ones that I'm outwardly expressing. They're the ones that are really that I'm overcompensating for. This last one is the one that I'm fearful and overwhelmed, that I'm suppressing. I'm really opening up and being vulnerable to you guys tonight. So, but that's the one that I am suppressing, that I don't want to know anything about subconsciously. And that color on that is red-orange. That's the balancing color, and the balancing octave is C sharp. And then if I go and I want to play the tones, let me go back. I'm going to close that. So if I hit close, it goes back. So I'm going to leave that there for a minute. What I get in the MP3s, there's 4 MP3 files that'll come through on your email. So if I hit close, it'll go back and it'll show that. And if I hit rad tones, let's play that so we can hear what that sounds like. Can we hear that? So that's the music, and underneath that music is the octave, the balancing octave that you're hearing, and that helps even out and balance my emotions. A personal experience with this for me has been, I have been using this. So about 3 months ago, I really started using the inner voice, and I was dealing with some anxiety, and I wanted to take control of that, and to be able to feel like, you know what, I don't need to feel so anxious. And so I said, we paid a lot of money for our scanner upstairs. I'm going to start using it. And so every week I would record an inner voice. I could have done it more often, but I've got to walk upstairs to do that. So I would go upstairs, I would do an inner voice, and then I would listen to those tones. So I'd email those tones to my phone, and for my phone, they just pull up, and I just pick them from the email, and I can just scroll through them and listen to them one after another. It takes 12 minutes because they're 3 minutes each, and there's 4 tones, and I can and I've been listening to those every day for the past 3 months now, and it has made a marked difference for me. I really feel like that's been something for me that's helped balance me. And the great thing that happened is as soon as I got my mobile device, I started listening to it. I started running inner voices minimum of twice a day, in the morning and at night. And then I wear my glasses. These glasses are available through your website if you're a wholesale member, but they come with 12 different lenses, and they're the colors that correlate. That was the word I was looking for earlier. Correlate to the balancing octave of the MP3 tone that you get, and so you've got different lenses, and so I have this sweet little tote-along pack that I take with me that I put the different lenses for the day in, and I'll switch them out throughout the day. But mostly I wear my suppressed emotion lens for the day, and I've found some great results. So for me, it's made a big difference. I know for other people, I know Lauren's heard back from people saying that's probably the one program that's made the most difference for people. And so I really, really love the inner voice. So let's talk about me. I'm just a dad. I'm a stonemason by trade. I run the operations for a construction company. I'm the father of a son with special needs. So I've got some medical understanding because of the stuff that my son's gone through, but I'm not a trained medical person. I'm a lay person when it comes to medical. We're talking to people like me tonight. We're talking to moms and dads. We're also talking to people who are providers, like my wife, who really has some extensive knowledge in holistic healing, in holistic treatments, because she has gone on her own health journey over the past 15 years and learned a lot, especially about frequency. We're talking to people who don't know anything about it, who this is their first time being exposed to the Able mobile scan device. So we're talking to professionals. We've got a chiropractor on one. And so we have some people that are really knowledgeable. We have some people who just want to see what this can do for their family. And that's what I want to try to express tonight, is what this has done for my family. We'll talk a little bit more about, as I go into each one of the different scans, we'll talk about how the frequencies work and what's happening there. And so that's really good to give me that feedback to make sure that we're grabbing on. And you explained it really well, and if you go to a cellular level, it starts at the cellular level with the nucleus, and we have the proton and the neutron circling the nucleus, and they circle in a wave pattern, and that creates a vibration, which creates a frequency, which creates a harmony in your cells, in your bones, in your skin, in your heart, in your brain. It all works on frequencies. If you think about our bodies, we are mostly empty space. We are mostly empty space, and we're made up of energy. And that energy expresses itself in frequency. So for me as a dad, I felt for myself what inner voice has done. So if we're going to go up here and we're going to what's called vitals. So as I open vitals and I scan, so right now I'm going to go ahead and put back in my bone conducting headphones, and I make sure they're plugged in good. So right here, this is the vital scan. So this would be similar to a chemical or chemistry test, like a blood test, for lack of a better way of, so everyone can understand. So right here, it's going to do the blood, it's going to do the gastrointestinal function, nutritional analysis, physical functionality. Now this, just so everyone knows, we have 3 levels of subscriptions. One's the basic subscription, one is the advanced subscription, and one is the professional subscription. Vitals right now is operating on the professional subscription. It has everything the professional one is going to have, or has, because it is the professional. So when I hit scan, so the first thing I do is I'm going to tap on scan, and that's going to start the scan. It's scanning. So this is the initial scan where it's scanning and reading where my body functions are. So it takes about a minute to scan. And once that's done, I'm going to do what's called optimize frequencies. And when I optimize the frequencies, it will send back the opposing frequency to help balance that frequency out. So this device is, right now I'm on my wireless. It's connected to AOScan Mobile, and that's why you pay a monthly subscription. So you have access to the scans, and so that frequencies come through the phone. So in through the headphones, through the bone conducting, and it scans. So now let's see if I can go and get my screen share back to the scan, and we're gonna optimize my frequencies. So the optimize, can you see that, Martin? So the optimize frequency is the bottom button right here, right above where it says reports. And I hit optimize frequencies, and now it's optimizing my frequencies. Are you hearing that? No, it's in my, you couldn't tell. So right now I can hear the tones. And it comes through tones. So they're vibrational tones. And the brain recognizes those and gives the feedback that we need to generate the report. So that's how that works. So this takes about a minute. And once this is done, it will generate a report that I'll email to myself. And once we're done with this, hopefully I can get back on the share. Otherwise, I'll just zoom in on the phone, and we'll do it that way. So that's kind of good to know that it shuts that down. So that's that blocking. So if you want to know what that is this phone, because cell phones can sometimes mess with. So on our big scanners, if we have somebody set their cell phone right down next to the scanner, it blows the scan. It doesn't work. And so they've set up a frequency or a signal that gets sent out when you're scanning that actually knocks that out so that the scanner will work through the cell phone device. So if I go now to my reports and I pull up my report, it's populating that report right now, and it's going to give me an in range or out of range, and so really it looks something like this. Can you see that, Martin? So you'll have right here on the right side is the previous scan, and you'll have these. You see all those reds? Those are things that are out of range on my first scan. Okay. In the red. Yep. So in the gray, that's my first scan. So green means it's in balance. Red is out of balance. And then I optimized. That's these two columns, and it pushed. So it pushed all those reds, a lot of them, into balance. So and so when I'm looking at my report, what I really like to pay attention to is when there's a repeating red, and I think, okay, I've got to look at that. That is my wife would know that what this is, circulating immune complex, the CIC. And so I'll track that over the next several scans to see if that drops off, and because I'm looking for trends when I do this. I'm looking for trends of things to say, okay, well maybe that's an issue, and now I want to go check with my doctor. Is this something I need to be worried about? There's been many people who find that when they do a blood test right about 2 to 3 days after they do the vitals, that it coincides like really nicely, because this is recognizing things that are happening before they'll be picked up on a chemical blood. So if I did a blood test the same day, it would probably look different. But in 2 to 3 days from now, it's going to look similar. Now, obviously, the blood test gives you numeric values. This just says out of balance. How can we understand what this means? AOScan has a great website, aoscan.com. aoscan.com. You can go there, and it goes through every one of these items and tells you what about it. And then you can talk to your doctor about it intelligently. And you can say, well, my kidneys are kind of feeling not great. And I can look at this, and I can go in and I can say, what does my kidney function look like? Because that's in there. That's in the physical functionalities, I think, isn't it? And so my brother's a doctor, and I talked to him about these, and he's like, yeah, what does it say? He was asking me on my scans, because I was going through some pitting edema issues. I was retaining a lot of water a few weeks ago, and it actually was about 25 pounds of water, and he asked me what my scan looked like and my blood test, and sure enough, my scan was right on with my blood test. I had way too much salt, okay? Way too much. I like salt. Now I don't have salt anymore, and I lost 23 and a half pounds of water in 10 days once I went off the salt and added magnesium and potassium, which it showed me that out of balance on, and I was able to add that in, and that's how it worked with the doctor, my doctor being my brother. And he actually has purchased one of these and is going to use it in his practice. Okay, so now we're going to go to the comprehensive. Now the comprehensive, it looks the same as the vitals when you pull it up. And one thing I forgot to mention is that you can select, can I get closer? Yeah? Okay. Okay, right here. So you can select or deselect any category you don't want to scan just by tapping on the check mark. And so I go ahead and I hit scan. When you have the professional level, there are how many? 137 categories. You can't scan all 137 categories in one scan. You can scan about 35 categories. And so you will have to at that point actually deselect and select the ones that you want to scan. And so once I do that, I hit scan, and now it's scanning my, and you know it's scanning because the body, the graphic of the body is there. So that's the initial scan where it's showing me, it's reading now my heart, I think, and there's several of my vital organs. The human cell, I think, is in that one, and I think the blood is in there too, and my skeleton, the vertebra. And so one great example of what we use this for, well, for what I did, I'm a runner, and recently, about 4 weeks ago, I was getting out of the way of a guy that was using his cell phone, and I figured that guy's not watching me. So I jumped up on the curb to go up onto the sidewalk and tweaked my ankle. And I knew where it was hurting. And so what I did is I took a comprehensive scan on my scanner upstairs, and because right now it doesn't have the feet on here. And I scanned my feet, and it pointed right to where it hurt, and it was a 9. And I went into my chiropractor and I said, you know, my ankle's out. He felt it. And he said, yeah, your bone right there is slipped. So Dr. Gunn was able to adjust my foot and popped it right back in and made that adjustment, and everything worked good. So I am really, that scan just showed me that it picked it up, and I was able to go in, and this is how chiropractors can use it with their patients. And so now that the scan is done, I hit optimize frequencies. And it's now it's scanning, it's optimizing those frequencies. It's sending that opposing frequency back, or the opposite frequency back, to bring that into balance. And the vitals takes about a minute. So this takes about 1.5 minutes. The vitals takes about a minute. So you can do all this in about 5 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes, and you can have all this information. So so now when I get through this one, and another thing that this has done, so another service that you can get, now this is, the extra information we get is on what's called a database, and that's something that a provider can help you get, that gives us more information, and we'll talk about that. That's not available right now, but it's an exciting thing that's going to come available on the professional premium. So that's going to be available to providers, to be able to offer that database, which now will take the information from our comprehensive and run it against a database that AOScan has, and give us clues, really detailed clues, to what might be the causes behind the way you're feeling. Is it emotional? Is it physical? Is it a parasite? Is it a virus? Is it a bacterial influence? Is it a mold fungus issue? We've had a few clients where we've picked up mold fungus issues. We've been able to help them take a supplement that supported their gut to get rid of yeast, and they got rid of yeast and they felt a lot better. So that's the practical application of what you can do with this. And so once I have it, once it's populated, what the report does is it gives you a reading of 1 to 9. 5 being the optimal frequency. 1 being low function, 9 being inflamed or overactive. With our son, we did the first scan we did on him with this mobile device, and also we did a scan with our big scanner. It picked up on his scan the pyloric valve. When he was 1.5 years old, Michael's pyloric valve had to be cut because his stomach wouldn't empty. So he had a surgery called a pyloromyotomy, where they cut that so that it would open up and he would empty. His stomach would empty. Well, on his scan, it reads a 1, low function, because the pyloric valve isn't functioning. And so that was a real time, we were like, wow, it recognized that issue. And so if you go in here and you can see that you'll get a report that will have 2 columns. One is in a box and one is outside the box. The one on the left, on the right, on the outside is the first scan. The one on the left is the optimized scan. And it will give you those readings and tell you if you're out of balance, which way you're out of balance. And so that is something exciting that we can look at, and we can go to our doctors with that as well if it's something that's concerning, and we're looking at it over time, and we're looking for trends, and we're watching it. And don't panic if you see a whole bunch of reds your first scan. It's okay. It's still getting to know you, and those things will begin to balance out. And what you want to watch for is those things coming into balance and dropping off. So those causes are now becoming are going further and further down the scale. So I'm going to take I'm going to take the time and turn it over to Lauren now for him to talk about some exciting news that he has for us.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're here, and I really appreciate the Ackleys for taking the time to do these Zooms. This is really helpful. The reason I wanted to come tonight was to explain a little bit about the different packages, and I'm going to touch on each one of these things that Bill's talked about real quickly. We have 3 different programs: basic, advanced, and professional, as he mentioned. The basic is just what it says. It's a basic program. It's ideal for the in-home, for a family to use at home. The advanced is a little bit more features, has a little bit more functionality that you can do. And then the professional it's the full package. And so mostly practitioners and providers will use that. However, with any one of those programs, there are features that the other one won't have. Now, what Bill was saying earlier about the vitals, when the basic version only has 220 items that it can scan. Now, that's still quite a bit. That's most of your blood work and your body functions. But the professional has 550, a little over 550 items that it can scan. And so that's a big, big plus. And then on the comprehensive, as Bill was saying, right now it has about 35 or 36 categories. Now, in each one of those categories, there are multiple things that you're able to scan. For example, the arteries of the head, there's 108 of them. So the one category has 108 features. Good. Okay, vessels that you can scan. In the professional, we have 135 categories. And each one of those categories has multiples. There's over 3,500 things that we're able to scan in the professional version of comprehensive. And so it's a pretty amazing thing that you can look at, and you can do it in minutes. We talk about, well, why would I want this, or why would I use this? Why would I spend $150 or $200 a month to have this? That seems like a lot of money, and it is money. I mean, it's money, but if you think about it, how much money do we spend when we get sick, and how much money do we spend trying to figure out why we got sick? And so if you look at this as, would I rather buy organic milk or organic eggs, or just the real cheap ones at the store? So we have to start evaluating where are our priorities. Our priorities need to be to make sure that we're healthy and happy, because it doesn't matter how much money we have or how great our life is if we're sick. And so having the ability to look at ourselves and have that education to help us make the changes when we need to make them is really helpful. So as this comes up, I'll go through that in a minute. What's happening right now with your vitals or with your comprehensive is you'll see an image. And in that image, we'll have all the things that we scanned. And it will give you the number of somewhere between 1 and 5, and a line to where that is on that body, or on that part. The new professional version that's coming out in the next 2 to 3 weeks, it will be an interactive. And you guys are the first ones to hear this tonight because nobody else knows about this. But your image will not be a static picture anymore. It will be a fully interactive experience when you're looking at your body. Can you see this here? Great. So if I wanted to look, and I'm showing you still in the development stage, this will be available in 2 to 3 weeks. When I go to scan the arteries in my brain, I will not only see a static picture, I'll see in 3D the entire circulatory system in my brain. And I'm going to try and get to that real quick here. Can we see that there? Okay. So I can zoom in, move it down, I can move all the way around, and I'll be able to say, I want to scan that artery right there. Wow. Touch it, scan it, optimize it. Wow. And see how that relates with my whole body. Now remember, we tell you this is not a diagnostic tool. This is an educational tool. And the more we know about how and why our body works, the more educated we come on that, the wiser decisions we can make. So we can zoom in, we can move the image around, and so we really truly understand how everything is connected. So if we open that up, and I want to go in a little deeper, let's say I want to look a little deeper, let's say I want to look at the nervous system. Now I see all the nerves in there, and I can actually, let me go back over. Where's my nerves? Now, what I'm showing you here is our development. What you're going to see on your phone or the tablet you have won't have all of this open stuff. You'll be able to go right to it, touch it, see it, enlarge it, rotate it, scan it, optimize it. So right now I'm just kind of showing you the kind of detail that you'll be able to see. So this, a whole new thing. And now where we're having to do all of the homeschooling and to be able to teach at this level in a way where, you know, someone can sit down and rotate and look and see, okay, that's how the heart works. That's how everything is connected. All of this is in the new comprehensive. So it's not just going to be more things to scan. It's the ability to interact with the scan itself. So we can play with this a little bit later, but just to give you an idea, that's where the scanner is headed. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the frequency. And Bill was talking about how we put in opposing frequencies to do the noise cancellation out. That's part of it, but it's not the whole part. Sometimes what we need is just that balancing frequency to go in, because what might be causing a problem, for example, we've had a lot of people thinking they're having a heart attack, and in reality, they're actually having a gastrointestinal issue. Feels like, all the symptoms are like a heart attack, or the reverse. They think they're having stomach issues, and it's actually a heart attack in the works. So knowing what's going on and putting in the right balancing frequencies, not just the cancellation ones, but to help support the other areas of the body that need to support that which is not doing well, is really important. So the AO scan is the ability, and we start, like Bill said, with the emotions. Think back, have you ever seen a disease that doesn't have an emotional anchor? Depression, anxiety, not taken care of, not kept in check, will develop into physical issues that become almost hard to deal with. And so we start with that, and then we go into the vitals to kind of see what the basic functionality of the body. Now, when we go to the new comprehensive scan, that comprehensive scan has 135 things, and you sit down and say, okay, where do I start? What should I do? I mean, which ones do I pick? And the answer is really simple. There's a button that's going to be right there on your screen. Now, if you've done your voice, your inner voice, and you've done your vitals, you push that button, and it will immediately do what's called an intelligent scan. It will evaluate everything that came up in the voice. It'll come up with everything that was out of range in the vitals. It will then go through and prioritize out of those 35 or 40 of those issues that are most important to be dealt with. And that's what scans. So we don't have to sit down and think, oh, I need to do this and this, or should I do this or that? That question has been taken completely out of the equation. And so the intelligence scan will make it simple. And I think the last thing that I want to talk in, and then I'll let Bill finish the Cepheid part of the system. We haven't got that to mirror yet, right? The Cepheid is the other part of the scanner. Cepheid stands for Subtle Energy Frequency Imprinter. In other words, we can take an imprint or broadcast a frequency into something else, like a bracelet or a ring or a bottle of sugar pellets. So we can take frequencies. We have in there a library of over 600 homeopathic remedies. You can go down the list, select which one you want to imprint it right, put the bottle right on the top of the screen, and imprint that frequency right into whatever it is we want to wear or ingest. The other thing that you can do is you can broadcast a frequency. Now, when you start to talk about broadcast a frequency to somebody, that gets really out there in the voodoo realm. Really what it is, though, think about it. If I was to call somebody with my cell phone on the other side of the world, I dial in a number, I push send, that signal is getting all the way to that phone on the other side of the world. It's passing through people and buildings and everything in the way, and the only phone that rings is the one that I dialed, right? Same thing with broadcasting. If you've got their profile up on your screen, that's my target, that's who I'm dialing, and so when I broadcast that energy, it's only going to go to that person. Einstein referred to this years ago as a spooky effect that happens from afar. Those are Einstein's words. They understand this. Both Einstein and Tesla understood that we could broadcast energy or frequency. One of them called it energy, one of them called it frequency. But they knew that it could be broadcast through what they called then the ether, just out there. But it only goes to the one person or the one individual. I'll give you another example that's maybe a little easier. A radio station is broadcasting a signal. Now, that radio broadcast is everywhere. But the only way you can hear that radio broadcast is if you tune into that specific frequency, and when you do, all of a sudden whatever's being broadcast on that station is coming directly to you. Same thing with this. This isn't and shouldn't be too hard to understand. It goes right where you say it's going to go, you tune into it, you've got it. Another way, prayer. When we pray for somebody, somebody receives it on the other end. People ask, how do you explain, how that works? I've heard it explained, this technology here is electronic prayer. You take a frequency and electronically broadcast it, and it goes to the target that it was meant to go to. So that's what the Cepheid, and it has 13 different programs. We have affirmations, we have homeopathic medicines, we have the Bach flower type remedies. We have all of these that you can literally make right on your device, from selecting the menu and hitting imprint, and which is being shown right there. So anyway, question?
So when will those other options be available?
Pretty much everything in 2 to 3 weeks. So then people will have the option, do I want the basic, do I want the advanced or the professional? They have a program going right now that anybody that gets a device and gets into the basic right away, if they do that before the end of the month, they get that the professional for the $179 for life. So it saves them $20 a month, which makes it really affordable. And you know, if you're using it at home, and you know, this is being presented to the world as a network marketing product, and the reason for that is, how else do you explain? You've really got to sit down with somebody, let them see it, touch it, explain it, so that they can understand it. So it was the right marketing venue to get this type of a product to the public. But if you enroll somebody into it and they get a device and a thing, there's a commission of $256. And so if you're signing up one new person a month, you've more than covered your expense. In fact, you've covered your expense and made $100. So it's a very simple thing. We don't push the business side of this, because I really want people to understand the value of the device, not the opportunity to make money. I want people to utilize the device. That's what's important. We can make money doing lots of things. We can only help people in certain ways, and this is one of those. So Bill, I want to say thank you for letting me come, and I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you'll be able to see this real soon in your own hand. You get updates automatically on your device. You don't have to ask for them, and they're free. Every update that comes out, and every single month there will be a new thing added to a new functionality added at no extra charge. So thank you for letting me come.
All right, thank you, Lauren, so much. Really appreciate you coming out here. It's a long drive from where you came from. So thank you for being with us tonight. And we're so excited for the new that new announcement. That's so crazy. Looking at that, I'm so excited to get that on my device and be able to turn and really scan my heart, because I recently did a heart calcification score test that my doctor wanted me to take, and it shows I have some moderate calcification that I need to take care of. So I'm watching that. I'm going to be able to watch it and optimize it and really take advantage of that that new comprehensive. That just blows me away. So thank you for being with us tonight and joining us via Zoom. We are hoping to we will be having more Zooms moving forward. So really the idea of the Cepheid, subtle energy frequency imprinter. We can send frequency, we can imprint frequency. I have these two bracelets right here. I imprinted this morning with, I've got about 13 frequencies on these. And I've got about 6 on one, 7 on the other, I believe. And those will be good. These bracelets are sold through your website, your wholesale membership. And they have tourmaline and cybin in them that helps really hold the frequencies. When you get these, you want to charge them in the sun, direct sunlight, not on the dash of your truck or on the windowsill, but outside, direct sunlight. And then you can, they stay charged for a month at least, and you can erase, imprint, erase, imprint. Keep in mind that if you have something negative happen, like if some guy cut me off and I yell at him, I'm going to probably blow the frequencies off. Negative frequencies blow away positive frequencies when they're imprinted onto an item. Okay, so be careful, especially when you're doing your sugar pellets. If you're imprinting supplements or something else onto a sugar pellet, you can. We have the foil lined boxes that they're sold in from AO Scan, and you can use those. Get with the person who invited you. They can explain the Cepheid and answer any questions you may have. And also get with them if you're interested in getting a device for yourself. Get with the person who invited you, and they will send you a link that will help you get signed up as a wholesale member and give you the option to share this with your friends. Because that's really what it's about, is sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your family. And as we have done that, we have seen some great response. And I wanted to just talk about a little bit about the sending frequencies and bring it back to the personal level again. My son, like I said earlier, suffers from cerebral palsy. He was born 16 weeks premature and had some brain injuries. Now, cerebral palsy affects the muscles, and recently I've been using the Cepheid in the quantum frequency profile, and I've used cerebral palsy and it has helped his bowel muscles loosen up and function better. He needs help to have bowel movements, and so I've used that with him, and it has been amazing. We actually had some good results tonight, right before about an hour before we came on, and we had some fun dealing with that. So but it's a wonderful thing because he's healthier and he's happier, and we've also used things like he gets manic sometimes at night, and so when he gets manic, there's not much you can do, and usually he'll be up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and so I've tried I've used several different ones, and I can sense by looking at him if he needs some inner peace or if he just needs some peace, calm, and tranquility. These are all in the frequency, the Quantum Reach program. Or maybe he needs some sleep well. And so I'll look at him, I'll get a feel, I'll send him, the first time I tried it, I sent him inner peace. And he was full mania when I sent him the frequency. 10 minutes later, he was fast asleep at 9 o'clock. And so I've been using it more and more, and it's been really helpful in helping my son who has those challenges. And so my wife has seen similar results with the energy setting on Quantum Reach. It's helped her have energy through the day, and helped actually the way she functions physically, her systems in her body. And so it's really supported her that way. And so I'm really excited about this device as a dad, as a friend, as someone who has no medical really background besides what I've gone through. And before I said I would do it maybe once a week with my big scanner, now I do it every day, and it's become something that I am passionate about. And the business, if you're interested in becoming an affiliate, we'd love to have you on our team and welcome you into our family, because this is a team effort. And that's what I really love about the way that Lauren has set up this, the business structure of the network marketing, is that it is really set up for a team and to support each other. And it's really probably the most generous and unselfish network marketing company in terms of the way the structure has been set up, and really encourages those sponsors who bring people in to help their sponsees get people in their downlines, because we all benefit at the same time. And so ask the person who gave you this invite, and we can give you more information about that. Lauren, you said it last night. I was at a meeting last night. When you worry about money, you'll always worry about money. When you stop worrying about money, you won't have to worry about money. And our focus is on health and wellness and getting this device to as many people as we can to help everybody be able to help themselves. And so thanks for joining us tonight. I look forward to hearing from you and talking to you again soon. Good night.